Hey everyone, we're live and I see there's already a few people in the chat. Welcome to Nalo's Thrift
Yeah,
Talk.
Henry and Anne-Marie, hello.
Hi, so glad you're here. I'm Lola.
And I'm Nay.
And if you're new here,
in the chat, welcome to Nalo's Thrift Talk. Henry and Anne-Marie, hello. Hi, so glad you're here. I'm Lola. And I'm Nay. And if you're new in the chat, welcome to Nalo's Thrift Talk. Henry and Anne-Marie, hello. Hi, so glad you're here.
It's like an endless loop of us.
Do you want me to? I'll leave.
Okay, technical difficulties.
You're here. It's like an endless loop of us. I'll leave. On your end, I think. Yeah, it's on. Looks like it's on Lola's end there that we're having some kind of echo. I'm not sure now. Now we can't hear you, Lola. Yeah, it's on Lola's echo. Yeah, it's on. Looks like it's on Lola's end there that we're having some kind of echo. Or not. I'm not sure now. Now we can't hear you. Yeah, it's on Lola's echo.
Okay, it's totally Nadine's fault. I'm innocent. I'll let Nadine figure that out for a second, and I will just let you know that, hi, we are a YouTube channel all about thrifting and reselling and integrating thrifting into your life as a sustainable practice. And today we have a great show that is all about moving as a reseller. So this week is a little bit more resale heavy. Oops, that's for next week. There we go. But we're also going to talk about some like practical tips for moving that if you're just a thrifter, not a reseller, I'm sure you can also use. But I just moved, as you might know. Okay, Nadine's coming back. And Nadine moved about 6 months ago. Nay, are you back?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. It was obviously me. All I did was leave and come back. So
it was so funny though. It was like hearing us just like infinitely repeating.
Yes, it was very odd. I don't know what happened, but it was on my end. So sorry everyone for the little glitch there, but we're here. So okay, so
I was just introducing today's segment. And talking about how we both recently moved.
Yeah.
And so we have some tips to share from our own experiences, kind of what worked for us, what we would do differently if we were doing it again, and just a little bit about, how we went through it and how we came out on the other side.
Yes.
And that's our topic for today. We have a few housekeeping notes before we dive into our usual segments.
I would like to say hi to John Snyder.
Hi, John Snyder.
Yeah.
So next week we have a very special show, and it is going to be on Halloween. And it is with a special guest who is a great friend of this show, Tim Taylor.
Yep.
Nadine, you want to talk a little bit about what he's going to bring?
Sure. So Tim is awesome. Tim and I are good friends. We chat pretty much daily, and he has the best sense of humor in the world. Look at his. He's in a chair. He is decorated his chair though as a John Deere tractor, and so that was like the best costume ever. It's so innovative, and he loves Halloween. Tim loves Halloween, and he collects these Lamax and Department 56, those type of Halloween Village light up items. And he's a hardcore collector, but he also has an amazing display every year. So he's going to talk a little bit about what he collects, what to look for in the thrift stores. And also we'll talk a little bit about other items that you can thrift for Halloween. So it's a special Halloween show, special date and time. It's on Halloween, Thursday, the 31st. And it's a special time. It's going to be at 1 p.m. instead of 12 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Yep. And we'll be showing up in costume. So if you're in the chat and also show up in costume, you get extra points.
Yeah.
And then we will also have a regular show on our regular time on Friday. So this won't be like a full show with all our segments. It'll just be the unboxing, but we do have new blue boxes, which Nate, yours already came, right?
Mine came just as I was, just before like an hour before the show, yeah. So.
And mine is in transit according to the app that gives you, it's actually really cool. It shows you like exactly where it is in the country. And it's almost at my door. I got a denim repurposed one because I was really happy with my last one, and another jewelry one because it seems like that's the one people are most interested in. So I'm going to go through the jewelry one beforehand and pick up the best stuff to share, I think, because there was so much in the last one.
For the jewelry.
The denim I'm going to leave as a surprise. So
right now, I have a women's box, a medium, because it's hard to get the other sizes, and I have another kid's box. But today, when they restock tonight, because they restock at 6 p.m. every Friday, it seems, I am going to try my best to snag a women's plus size box. We'll see if I'm successful. They seem to go instantly.
That was a dream. We both tried last week and failed. So.
Yeah. So we're going to try, but we'll see what happens. So we'll have some good blue boxes for next week. People seem to love our blue box unboxing. So.
And we love doing them.
Yes, we do. Okay.
And then.
And Diane.
Hey, everyone in the chat. It's nice to see more people trickling in. So we have a new mailing list that we would love for you to subscribe to. It's called Background Noise. And it is going to be a weekly compilation. Let's see if I can bring it up. We're gonna be. Yep, there we go. So it's a weekly compilation of the best of the web that we've collected to listen to and have in the background while you're listing. So it'll be new music. It'll be podcasts, YouTube videos, stuff that's streaming on, Netflix and Hulu. So it should be easy for you to access if you're a subscriber of those. Yeah. And whatever else we find. Yeah, maybe some inspiration, some motivational things for when you're listing or having a little bit of a day where you just need that extra push. We might be sharing some of that too. So I'm just gonna drop the sign up form link in our chat, and we'd love to have you. We will also be adding some PDF libraries to our for our subscribers. So it'll be notes from the show, so you can just quickly get the takeaways and some of the resources we talk about kind of compiled into resource lists and stuff like that. So and who knows what we'll do in the future, but we really wanted to have another way to connect with you. So it's our new mailing list, and we hope you'll sign up. Yes, please subscribe. So now that we've gone through all of that, one more note. We do have another new segment, so stay tuned to the end. It is going to be our 2 most recent sales. So we love seeing on other videos people, their scores and duds, but we had another spin on it. Nate, you want to introduce it? So we have a different spin on it. We are just randomly choosing, as of Thursday, the day before the show, we're randomly choosing our 2 most recent sales, and it could be across different platforms. Like we might pick one from Depop, one from eBay, one from but we are picking our 2 most recent scores because they could be a dud or they could be a score, and we want to be real. We want to show reality that sometimes things don't sell for as much as we would have liked them to, or there's a reason that they're that they didn't do as well. So it's an education too. So we'll talk about just randomly our last 2 sales, whether they're good, whether they're bad, whatever. If it's a $10 sale or a $100 sale, we're going to share. Exactly. And if we made money or lost money or had some sort of horrible accident while packaging it, we will share it all. Yes. Okay. So now moving on to our usual segments. What are we wearing? Okay. Lola, do you want to start? Oh, sure. Okay. So I'm wearing a FrankenOak. It's actually a men's shirt. So this is a great example of why you should always hunt through other racks you're not super comfortable with. I don't sell a lot of men's clothes, but I do like picking it up and wearing it because it's usually really comfortable. So this one, it's a large or an extra large, I forget. So just kind of oversized on me. And I'm wearing it with just black leggings that are also thrifted. They're from a brand called Girlfriend Collective, which is a pretty good Bolo brand. It's not as expensive as like Lululemon or Outdoor Blaze.
Yeah, now we're talking about a brand that I don't know.
Oh, we were together when I got these, and I was telling you about it.
You must have. It sounds familiar, but it's not a brand that's on my radar.
Yeah, so it's a little bit smaller. It's known for being sustainable. It's one of those, I think they're sort of like the direct to consumer, so they cut out the overhead. They're definitely a little bit less expensive, but really, I've been living in these. They're so soft. They're such good quality. I am probably going to go on Poshmark and buy another pair or two. And from checking comps, they go for about $30 to $40 on Poshmark. So a little bit lower than, black leggings that are Lulu or Outdoor Blazes might go for a little bit more than that. But still solid Bolo. And if you are a fan of black leggings in the fall and winter, I am a huge fan of this brand now. I will be picking it up whenever I can, either to keep or to flip. So, and FrankenOak is also, it's a sustainable company. And I had heard about it and never seen any of their stuff before. The comps on this shirt, if I had sold it, weren't actually as high as I was hoping. I know some of their items do really well, but I just love buying sustainable clothing and thrifting it so it's like extra sustainable. So I'm taking a piece that was already made, with the environment in mind and giving it even another life. So
I love that the stripes go horizontally too. Most buttons,
yeah, well, I
like that are vertical.
Shirts probably wouldn't do the horizontal. But
yeah, it's really cute though.
Mm-hmm.
So I am wearing
a holy grail.
Well, kind of, yes. This scarf is actually a Missoni scarf. I'm gonna take it off to show you guys. You can see it's thin fabric, but it's that chevron, which is a zigzag pattern. So always Bolo for that in the thrift store. Like go through the scarf section. If you see, and a quick way to spot Missoni, not all Missoni is chevron, but a quick way to spot it is when you see a chevron print. Lola and I often gravitate towards them. We're like, is it Missoni? And then, we're usually disappointed, but this time I was not disappointed. And there's the tag on it. You can see. It's not a for Target Missoni. It
is the real deal because the Missoni for Target also good if you find it.
It's not going to bring you as much. So I am going to sell this scarf eventually. I'm kind of enjoying it for a little bit, but I will probably list it for probably around $90 or so and see what kind of. I've sold them before for about the higher range around there. So I will see what I get for it, but I'm enjoying it for now. And I will show you, I have this. This is a huge, huge sweater, and it's like oversized and cozy, and it has pockets.
No way.
It says Le Meow on it. So that is my, I found that. I paid $4.99 for it at Goodwill. So that was a score for me. It's super comfy. It's huge, but it's just like one of those cozy sweaters for a cold day. And I just want to give a shout out to my friend Cindy Summers because she sent me these awesome breast cancer awareness nail wraps. So very, very cool. And if you want more information, I will post that on my Instagram. So
awesome. I love that scarf. And it matches perfectly.
I know, I love it. It's kind of cozy too. It's a very, very thin, like viscose rayon material. Mm-hmm. Very easy to snag actually, so I have to be careful, but it's actually really comfortable. So
it looks so soft.
Yes.
Okay. And moving on.
Yeah, so yeah, always look for the zigzags
and sometimes you will be disappointed, but sometimes you won't.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it's worth it for that one time you find this one.
It definitely is, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Our thrifted home decor of the week. What do you have, Nay?
Okay, so I have, I think it's Asian. It's actually a needlepoint.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's got metallic thread in it. The frame is kind of cracked, but it kind of adds character to it. I kind of like the frame being kind of raw, and it's mounted on wood, And I was going to sell it originally, but I just love it. So it's mine. And I haven't found a place to hang it yet, but it's a really cool, it was a cool find. And I think I paid probably like $5 for it at my Goodwill.
Wow. What do you think if you listed it? What do you think you would list it at?
I really don't know. I'd have to look at comps. And I think something like this, you can kind of set your own price on.
Yeah.
So, I'd probably put it up for around maybe around 100. See, go down from there, see what happens. But
yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm ever going to list it, but if anyone is interested in it, you can let me know. And I would be willing to consider selling it. So this is also, I love art books. I love them. This is it's a French Impressionist book. And I paid, I think, $2.99 for it. It's the jacket is still in good shape. It's got, and I love Van Gogh. So Van Gogh's in here. I did a whole senior thesis because I was, in the art program on Van Gogh, just so I knew everything about his life. But so he's in there. There's a little bit of Degas and all the French Impressionists. So it's a really remarkable book.
Can you hold the cover up?
Yeah, I can.
I want to see that. I think I know that painting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So unless it's one of the similar ones, that painting was one of my proudest moments in grad school because I saw something in it that my professor, who is a very well-known authority on Impressionist painting, had never noticed before. Really? And I was just feeling smug for a while.
That's funny. I was trying to find it in the book, but I had it, but I can't find it again. So, okay. If I find it, I'll put it up in the...
That's great.
So those are kind of some fun finds. And books also are part of home decor because they can be, they look nice on a coffee table. They add a little, and, people love to just they come over and they love to just leaf through them because, especially people that are art nerds like us. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I have a few of my favorite art books I keep out.
Oh, I found it. It's Monet.
Yeah.
But it's La Rue Saint Denis, Fête du. So the fête is party. So I don't know. So I guess it's like a celebration of La Rue, some street. I don't know.
So I think if you look very closely in the middle of it, it says Vive la France.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So I noticed that in class. My professor had never seen it before.
It sure does.
And anyway, I was very proud of myself, and I clearly still am.
It's hard to see in the...
Yeah, it's really hard to see. You have to look at it very closely.
Yeah, but if you ever look at that painting, it's Claude Monet, La Rue de Saint Denis, Fête du. It was done in 1878. So, yes. So anyway, that's that was the score for me. Whenever I find nice art books that are in good condition like that, I never sell them. They always become part of.
But if you do want to sell them, sometimes they can go for a lot of money.
Yes, they can actually. Especially, I know Jason. Jason said he can't hear us. Can everybody hear us?
I think it was talking to. It's Henry, right?
No. Jason said he can't hear us. But I think everybody else can. If you can hear us, let us know. So
yeah, let us know if you can't hear us. I thought I can also maybe move closer to my microphone.
No, I think it's
okay.
Okay.
So my item is a work in progress. But as I mentioned before, I make different knitted items for charity. And one thing I'm working really hard on right now is blankets for people experiencing homelessness because it's about to get super cold, especially where I am in Massachusetts.
This is your popped off Van Gogh joke.
Oh, I get it.
He cut off his ear. Yes. Oh boy. And here I thought we had sound issues. Thanks, Jason.
Thanks, Jason. I get it. And everyone's saying hear you. Thanks, guys. We really did freak out for a second, but
yes, thanks, Jason, for making us freak out temporarily.
Anyway, so this is one in progress panel for a Afghan that I'm working on.
Ooh, that's gorgeous.
So the gray is going to go all around, and then the full Afghan will be 9 of these.
I think I might have to commission you for an Afghan.
I would love to make you an Afghan.
I would love one. I'm always told.
So,
oh my gosh, I want a Lola Afghan now.
This yarn is actually one that you gave me from your stash yarn.
Cool.
The cheap acrylic, as I mentioned before, is perfect for stuff like this because it's easy to just wash if it needs to be washed. And then a couple of these I bought. I think actually the rest of them, I just bought a big lot of cheap yarn off Shop Goodwill, which is a great way for me to get yarn because it buys cheap stuff, and it's actually fairly cheap to ship for what it is. And then I bought the gray yarn at Michael's on sale just so I had enough to tie it all together. And yeah, so this is
so cool. I love the color block look. It's like, it's so funky. So me.
And yeah, so I love taking unexpected combinations and turning stuff that, you know,
cool.
People think is kind of like junky yarn into something beautiful. So my appeal to all of you, again, if anyone comes across acrylic yarn or has it in their inventory and it's not moving, I would be happy to pay you shipping for it, and I will use it to knit Afghans for people in need, or hats and scarves, stuff like that. But
yep, great thing. And like we were talking about last week with the breast cancer episode, you know, breast cancer patients need them too. Chemo makes you cold, treatments make you cold, hospitals are cold. You know, it's just, I needed my blankets when.
Yeah, I make preemie blankets for NICU babies. And so I'm putting it on hold for now just because it's easier to do over the summer. And right now, obviously it's cold, but it's another great cause that they always are looking for blankets.
Our guest for next week, Tim, just popped in. Hi, Tim.
Hey, Tim. We just shouted you out. You missed it.
You missed a shout out to you.
Okay, so it is time for our main segment of the week, which is all about moving as a reseller and how we did it and what we think you should learn from us, both the good and the bad. So some of it do, some of it don't do what we do.
I will post my Instagram for Sabrina and the.
Yeah, we'll also have a.
We have a segment at the end too that shows us.
But it's your Thrifting Day, right? Just like on your.
It's Thrifting Day, so I guess I don't even have to put. It's at Thrifting Day, yeah. But pay attention to our last thing. We have all of our contact information on it. So. Okay. So yeah. So we're gonna talk about. Okay. You can take it, Lola.
Oh, this was your turn.
Oh, was it? Okay. Yeah, keep your, okay. So basically we want to prioritize shipping with shipping your items. So you want to have your scale, your packing materials, your printer set aside, you know, like load them in last, you know, so that you can load them in last so you can unpack them first so that they're at the front of the truck, or carry them in if you have an SUV or a car that has enough room, carry them in there, because those are going to be your most important things. Even if you have to set up your printer on a moving box, you know, and just like kind of, you know, you can do that. So yeah, definitely have all of your packing materials and everything so that you can get right back to business as soon as possible.
Yeah, definitely. I did that. I kept my printer easy to get to. I had one actually funny thing was I had my eBay packing tape out so I could ship stuff, and then ran out of packing tape to close all the boxes, and it saved us in a pinch. So like all our moving boxes had the bright yellow eBay packing tape on top.
Yes.
But it was great. So yeah, as long as you have everything easy to access, I really didn't have to I increased my handling time, but I didn't put myself on vacation or anything because I felt pretty confident if something sold, I knew what it was, I could get to it, I could ship it.
I did go on vacation just because I have kids, you know, in the process and everything. It was just a lot. So I did put my closet and you know, my store on vacation, but I was only down for, you know, less than a week because I did have everything that I needed. I was able to set it up, even if it was kind of improvised, you know. so that I was set up to ship and print, and definitely also make sure your Wi-Fi is connected before you move. So
yeah, so I found it was really easy. I went online. I knew we had to get Comcast, which is a little annoying because I prefer Verizon. It's not the end of the world. And they actually like shipped you a box with, you could self-install it. It would deliver to your house sort of the day that you wanted it to be, like within a couple day window. So we moved in Thursday. We didn't have internet till Saturday, but that wasn't really awful. And then I bought a router on eBay, and it came, right on time as well. And I spent, 50%, I think, of what it would have been new in store. So I saved a ton of money that way. And it was not the headache it could have been. So that was really nice.
Yeah. So.
Okay. So one thing that I did that I'm really, really glad I did was just use moving as a chance to let things go. So Nadine looks like she might have dropped off. Hopefully she'll be back. So I sent a huge shipment into ThredUp. I just went through all my inventory. I picked out everything that wasn't moving, everything I was sick of looking at. And of course, this is women's clothing for ThredUp, but that's mostly what I sell. So anything that I had for too long and it was in my death pile and I just did not want to go through the trouble of photographing it and listing it, I put it all in a bag and sent it to ThredUp. My estimated payout so far was like $70, but I did have another shipment to go in, so I think it'll be at least double that, which is not what I could have gotten for all of it if I had listed it and sold it on Poshmark or eBay. But my attitude and my feelings about my inventory now are so different. They're so much more positive. I'm so excited to list everything that's not listed. I'm so proud of everything I have that is listed. And I just feel totally re-energized. So it was a great time to get some of that stuff out. I had to move less stuff, and unpacking it, I just, was happy to see every single item. So it was a little bit like a KonMari thing, and just, feels like a new chapter, and I'm really happy about that. One tip that I also thought for me worked really well was I went on Amazon and I bought a bunch of vacuum storage bags. So these are the ones that they're like huge Ziploc bags, and then they have a little opening or like a socket you put your vacuum on, and it sucks out all the extra air. So I did this for some of my craft supplies, like my yarn and fabric. And then I did it for a lot of my clothing items. So I was able to organize it. I sort of organized it by type. So I had like jeans in one bag and tops in another and button-down shirts in another. So I knew where things were. And you can see them pretty easily too, because the bags are clear. And vacuum them out. Made it really easy to fit a ton of items into one box, although it does get really heavy. So that was really the only limiting factor. But then on the other end, when I moved in, I was able to, okay, Nadine's on her way back. I was able to take out the vacuum bags and just very gradually open them and put things away. So it was so much less overwhelming than it could have been. It was really nice to just do it on my own time, gradually. And if anything did sell, which it did, I did sell a couple items, I knew exactly where it was, in which bag. So I was just able to open that bag and leave the other ones be until I needed them. So my next tip that I did that I was really happy about is reusing and recycling moving boxes. So we actually ended up buying boxes new, which I had never done before, because boxes are obviously, as every reseller knows, something that you can reuse again and again. I, in the past, have gotten them off Buy Nothing, which is a Facebook group that's amazing if you're not part of it. You can find your local Buy Nothing group. Usually it's pretty small. So in Philly, because it's a big city, it was just my neighborhood. In more rural areas, it might sort of be like the town or the county, but it's your neighbors, which is the, part of the point of it is that you get to connect with your neighbors. So moving boxes are something that's really easy to get on Buy Nothing. People often will move in, pass them on to another person who's leaving. And this time we did buy them new because my spouse had a moving allowance with their new job. So we didn't have to worry too much about the cost, but we got them through U-Haul, and U-Haul actually has a service where they have like a message board on their website where you can connect with other people and pass the boxes on to somebody else or get free boxes. So we have them all organized and set aside to pass on to another person through the U-Haul website. So that's another great resource if you are moving and need boxes. You can get them for free. And of course, we had tons and tons of bubble wrap and just like recycled newspaper to use as void fill and to wrap things in. And so I will be reusing all of that when I'm shipping. Really good tip. Don't do it in the fourth quarter. Yeah, I wish we hadn't moved in the fourth quarter, but it was a little bit out of my control. So I had to just do my best, and I think it actually went okay. I definitely, my business is pretty small right now because as I mentioned on other episodes, I am dealing with some chronic illness, so I don't have as much time to invest in it. So that probably made it a little bit easier. Okay, Nadine is on her way back in, so hopefully she'll be here in a second. It is a crazy thing to do no matter what time of year, and Q4 definitely makes it even harder. But I think all of these tips kind of boil down to like be as organized as possible. And I had to do all of this really quickly. So I think if I had a little bit more, if it wasn't a super quick turnaround that my spouse got a new job and we had to move for it, I think I could have done things even better. So, if you're able to have that luxury of time, it makes things that much easier. So this is one that, going back to the luxury of time, I wish I had done, and I wish I had done, all along. I do try to keep pretty good records. Hey, Nay, are you here? Can you hear us?
I'm so sorry. I'm having some laptop issues. So.
Oh no. Okay, but you're back.
I'm back. I had to restart.
Okay. I went through most of my tips, so we can go back to you. Okay. So I was just talking about my one thing that I wish I'd done differently was keeping a better inventory of all my stuff. So I do have a pretty good like Google spreadsheet where I keep track of my cost of goods and where things are listed because I do cross list. So I want to make sure I don't inadvertently leave something up that was sold. But I did not take specific note of what was in which box. And there is one box that is MIA, did not make it. It was a box with, it was about 50-50 personal items and items I was going to sell. And of course, it had to be the box of like all my designer. Oh, my cat's here. All my designer. All the like things that my holy grails I collected over years. So it was partially sentimental and partially it was really valuable. And I have a pretty good memory of most of what was in there, but not everything. And I wish I had taken the time to actually, inventory every box. And that's something that would have taken more time than we had. But
yeah, you guys didn't have a lot of time.
No. But especially if you're inventory at this point, like I don't know what I can do about it. If I can like make a claim through my insurance, because I the only thing I can think of is that it was taken while it was being loaded. And
like as in stolen?
I think so. Yeah. And I don't have any proof of it. So I don't know exactly what I could do about it, but it is a heartbreak, honestly. I'm really bummed about it. So, I mean, it's just stuff. I will find more awesome holy grails. I have an excuse to buy more now, but
Did you have anyone, did you have your truck open for a while with like unattended? Because we had a guy, it's Philly, and we had a guy in our, not this move, but we moved from Old City in our apartment. We had a guy who was about to run off with some of our stuff. And his excuse was, oh, my friend lives back here. I was just checking out your stuff. It was like, Yeah, he was
Yeah.
totally trying to. So we caught him in time, but after that, we learned we have to stick with the truck. You can't like take your eyes off.
Yeah. So there were, you know, two guys who were helping us move. We had hired them to load the truck, and then me and my spouse and my in-laws. So there were 6 of us all together, and I did get a little worried about it, but I figured like with all these people going in and out, someone's always at least present. But that wasn't really true. I mean, there were definitely moments where someone could have.
Yeah.
And the thing about this box is it was definitely the lightest. So that makes sense. Like if someone was just looking for an opportunity to walk off with something, it was the one that made the most sense. And I feel like in our neighborhood, it's pretty trusting and it's also pretty highly populated. So if you see someone acting like they belong, like you don't really question it. And someone could have easily just kind of like confidently walked off with it.
So that's another good tip to
keep your eye
on the moving truck.
Yeah. And I really regret not doing that because it would have been easy for me to just sit out there and watch because I can't lift stuff anyway. So it wasn't like I was helping load.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So inventory and keep a good eye on your stuff.
Yes. So I guess thrift bins and organizational supplies to use for moving and for long-term storage. So you can find often if you go to Target or whatever, often those bins are at least $10. They're expensive, and some of them, like the heavy-duty ones that you can get from Home Depot, they're great, but they're really expensive. They could be like $30 or so. So the best thing to do, I found, is scour your thrift stores. Go to a couple different Goodwills if you can. Usually they have those bins for sale. Those so I've gotten most of mine that way, and they sell them for just a few dollars. Like $2 to $3 usually. So they're great for moving and also for long-term storage. And they have handles on the side, so they're easy to move your stuff in. So I did that with my inventory. I already had some bins, but there was some inventory that, wasn't as organized. So I did thrift some more bins to, pack and move. And then they were already, in storage mode. So.
Yeah. One thing I always find at the bins is the smaller, like shoebox size ones. And those were actually super helpful when I was moving for shoes because I didn't want them to get crushed, as well as like smaller items, like the jewelry I had listed, things like that. And I love picking those up at the bins because they weigh nothing. So they're like 10 cents and you're keeping them out of the landfill. So.
Yeah. So the huge under the bed boxes are great for storing shipping supplies. You can put them under the bed if you want to, but they're also like, they don't take up much room if you're storing them in your basement or whatever. They are wider and flatter. So, they fit quite a number of, like if you have your polys, your padded mailers, some boxes, they're great for storing shipping supplies.
Yeah, I'm tempted to buy a couple of those new from the Container Store. They have ones that are sort of hinged, so you can pull it out from under the bed and open half of it, which is great for inventory or, like you said, shipping supplies that you need access to, but you don't want to have, taking up valuable storage space out in the open. So
the other thing I have in my basement, and I moved my stuff in and I taped it shut, was one of those Rubbermaid little carts with the wheels. And I put like my I have like priority labels and packing tape and stuff like that in, and then I just like you can just like kind of tape it up to hold the drawer shut and move it in that, and then you can store stuff in it. You don't have to unpack it or anything. So
yeah.
So I guess that's the main thing, is it makes it easier. It's less things that you have to unpack. So
yeah, I talked about that a little bit with I use vacuum storage bags, and it was great because I could just unpack them slowly and I knew what was in them.
Yeah.
Easy.
So, so keep your inventory separate. Another one is to keep your inventory separate and clearly label the boxes. Yes. So I did and I didn't do this. Some of my inventory did get kind of mixed in with my personal stuff, and I regret that because the move was kind of fast, and we moved. I did not hire anyone, so
I can't imagine doing it without.
And it was a lot. It was horrible. Actually, it was like hell. I would imagine like what hell would be is just moving. Like that's. Yeah. It was horrible. My back hurt, and I have trouble like lifting too because of my upper body, like my nerve damage and all. So I was in pain. So anyway, so definitely keep your inventory separate from your personal items. You know, designate a side of the truck for them, an area in the truck, just put them there. You know, load last, you know, so that you can unload first. So that's, you know, that's definitely another thing that you should do. And another one is if you need a storage unit. Yeah, if you need a storage unit, then rent one before you your new location before you get there. So I did not do this, and I regret it because I still have stuff in storage in Philadelphia, which isn't that big of a deal because it's an hour away. But if I don't have anything listed that's in there, it's mostly like, you know, some of my kids' stuff, but a lot of unlisted inventory, which is bad. I need to, but so now I have the problem that I'm an hour away and my storage, I still have to empty my storage units. So I wish what I had done was rent a unit here because I do need some extra space. I don't have enough space. You know, my parents, some storage at my parents, a little bit limited in the basement. And so I really need to get a new storage unit that's local and move my stuff to there. So if you do need a storage unit, don't do it the way I did it. Rent a new one ahead of time.
Yeah, I feel so bad. We kept talking about me helping you, and then I move away. So now I'm not in Philly.
No, I have all this inventory. I keep telling Lola like she's got to take some of my inventory, but
I'm so happy to take your inventory. You have no idea.
Yeah, but so we'll figure that out. But anyway, so I have another introduce yourself to your local post office, your new post office. So the one bonus of me moving is I am literally across the street from the post office. So across the street that a postal truck hit my house a couple of months ago. So we are filing a claim with the post office, a different kind of insurance claim there. And, you know, the post office will pay for the expenses, but they pretty much decimated my front porch. So, but anyway, that's beside the point. My post office is literally across the street from me. So when I first moved, I went in there, introduced myself. I told them like, hey, I sell online. I'm going to have a lot of packages. I live right there, you know. So now, and I also scoped it out. They do not have any shipping supplies out, like priority boxes at all. And which is unfortunate and fortunate because especially since they hit my house, they're a lot nicer to me now. Yeah. So that's kind of actually worked out to be an add bonus. We get a new porch and they're nicer to me. So, but they actually do have a stash in the back. So ask, and they will give me whatever I need. They even actually have like a kind of special secret stash of the padded envelopes if I need them. So, you know, definitely become friendly with them, get to know your new post office, and also scope out, you know, when it's busiest, when there's lines, if you do need a receipt or if you do need to stand in line, which I know a lot of you don't because you could just drop off the packages. But sometimes, you know, there are times when I need something, you know, so, you know, definitely just scope out, introduce yourself and get to know them. Becoming friends with your new postal employees will definitely benefit you a lot. So they've even offered to pick up my packages, and I'm like, that I have to be so lazy to have that option because it's literally just walking across the street. So yeah.
Sabrina says that she wants a she shed to take everything out of the garage. I would love a she shed. I joke about it all the time. You know that commercial where the woman's like, her she shed's burning.
Yeah,
her she shed. Yeah. That's my dream in life. So she shed.
That would be awesome. Yes.
But I do have like the extra bedroom in our apartment I call it my room, and I feel a little bad that I like creep and take over way more space than my spouse does. But I just have more stuff. So
yeah.
Oh, that's too bad. So my new mail people seem super nice, and I will say, like Nay said, a perk of moving away from the city is now I can leave packages for pickup out front, and so I can just leave them in the morning and not worry about when the post person comes and they take everything. They have a truck, so they don't have to be carrying you know, like in Philly, they would actually have to carry it because they don't have the truck up and down every street. And that is a godsend. It makes things so much easier for me. Okay, I disagree. It is one of my favorite.
I love the commercial too. I'm with you.
Clearly, we have different tastes in commercials. That's fine.
I'm with you too. Yes. So, yeah, that's a shame. So yeah, that was a perk for me too. Coming from the city, I had so much trouble with the Philly post office. In fact, I lost my eBay TRS status because of it, because of the fact that they would not scan no matter how. I would have to stand in line and ask them, and they kind of roll their eyes. They did not like scanning. So my packages often wouldn't get scanned, and they ended up late often, which caused my, you know, my shipping time to go down, and I lost my TRS. So now that I've moved, I've had perfect shipping time score. So hopefully I can, you know, within time I can get my TRS back. So that's a good advantage of moving.
Yeah, I noticed that in Philly too, especially on Poshmark, because they will notify the buyer when the package starts tracking. And I would have buyers being like, "Why haven't you shipped it yet?" And be like, I shipped it 2 days ago. I have no idea."
You had trouble with Philly too. They were, yeah, I had so much trouble. And then they would send packages back to me too, because I had it like in the flat rate envelope. And they said, oh, flat rate means it has to be flat. So I actually got a couple packages like 2 days after I shipped them back in my mailbox with a kind of nasty note on it saying it has to be flat. And I took it back and I was like, that is not true. Yeah. And they were insistent on it. So it was really, I had so much trouble. So yeah, that's a blessing with my move is the new post office.
Yeah, I left packages out for my postman guy, and he picked them up, and I heard the little beeping noise when he picked them up that he was scanning them, and it was like music to my ears. And then like literally half an hour later, I got an email saying like, your package is tracking, from Poshmark. And I had never seen one of those emails as fast as I had before. And I was like, well, now it makes sense to me why everyone expects that to happen immediately.
Yeah, mine do too now. It's like instant tracking. It's amazing. It's like a miracle. I feel like we both had pain. We both had a lot of pain with the Philadelphia postal system. It was horrendous. And you could not leave packages out because somebody would
they would get stolen.
In fact, I have had packages stolen from my front porch, that were delivered to me. Jason actually shipped me a pop socket. And
I remember that.
Somebody is rocking Secret Beach. Some thief somewhere is rocking a Secret Beach pop socket on their phone. So yeah. So on that note, actually, is be open to the change that comes with moving. And so a big one for me is the sourcing strategy, but actually also shipping makes a big impact on that too, because in Philly, I would almost only do clothing, because if I had a hard good, I would have to actually physically carry the box to the post office, which was like a 20-minute walk. And of course, 20-minute walk each way, not always very, convenient or easy. If it's, I had a whole bunch of packages, they get heavy. And as I feel like I mentioned all the time, now that I've gotten sick, I actually can't walk that far anymore. So it was a huge problem. I would either have Nay, you would take me to the post office sometimes. I would get my spouse to take me, but they, work full time. So not always available during the post office hours. Fun fact about Lola is she does not drive.
I do not drive. And John says, I don't know how some sellers take that chance. If I didn't now live in like a super small town and all my neighbors actually are my spouse's coworkers, so I feel very safe here. Yeah. Otherwise, I definitely would not do it.
Where I moved now, I can leave packages out. Packages get delivered in the morning. I'm out for the day. I come home and they're still on my porch. Yeah,
it's so interesting.
Like a miracle when they don't get stolen. I was like culture shock.
I did see someone post in my local neighborhood group. I don't know if it was actually a Philly-based business, but there's someone who's making these little, very attractive kind of cages for packages. So basically what they are is like how a mailbox works. You can put something in, but you can't take it out again. And then you have like a padlock on it, so you can open it. If we still lived in Philly, I would totally figure out a way to do that. Like
the Pat's steak, the woman who her family owns Pat's steak. She built that mansion on my street.
Oh yeah, you pointed
And
out.
in front of her house, she had one of those boxes, which, you know, probably pretty pricey to do, but that's how she got her packages delivered. So
I mean, for someone, especially for us, like over time, if we were still in the middle of the city, it would pay for itself because it would be so much easier. But anyway, so now that I have the luxury of pickup from my front porch, I am probably going to start looking for more hard goods, because the flip side of that is the local thrift stores do not have the same quality of clothing that we have the luxury of finding in Philly.
oh my gosh, Philly is like a mecca. So, but Lola, we do have the advantage, and I was just talking to Jason about this yesterday. We do have the advantage that now that you've moved, even though I miss you terribly because we used to thrift together all the time, we have an excellent rail system on the East Coast here. So we have access to, even down to Washington, really, Washington, D.C., but we have access to Philly, New York City. I am closer to New York City now, but I was just in Philly yesterday, you know, and so I can thrift in Philly still. I can New York, I can be in New York, you know, within like a half hour, 40 minutes. And I can also catch a train from New York City to Boston to thrift with you in Boston. So we do have the advantage that we have multiple cities here. But thrifting in the big cities is definitely better. Where I moved to, I'm in a kind of rural area, but it is like it's in the backyard of New York City, basically. So it's a New York City suburb. So unfortunately, and I don't know if it's because of this, I moved to what is pretty much a wealthy town here, and there's no thrift store in the town. There's no thrift store in the vicinity. The only thing is there's a consignment shop that is very pricey, but they do have sales. So that's the only thing in my area. I have to travel to find an actual thrift store. So
yeah. And we have a bunch of Goodwills, we have a bunch of local thrifts, but they're pretty small and everything just very worn. I think it's sort of like the New England thriftiness that like people buy things and wear them out still here more often. There's, you know, very little. I found a couple new with tags, like dead stock, vintage stuff that looks like, you know, someone had it and never wore it and it was in their closet for 60 years, but not really like high-end stuff that even that wasn't really worth picking up. So it's a very different.
Yeah, you definitely have to change your strategy, figure out maybe there's something that's more plentiful in your new area that wasn't in your old area and take advantage of that. So
definitely more antiques and stuff like that. So
yeah, so
that is, you know, a possibility. John asks, why don't I drive? It's partially because I've always been a big city girl. Like I lived in Boston, New York, London. Philly doesn't have as great of a transit system as any of those cities, but by that time I just gotten so used to taking public transit, it didn't make sense, especially in Philly. Parking is awful. And my spouse drives, so
I used to take public transportation in Philly, you know, to get to my doctor's appointments and whatnot sometimes, just because of the fact that finding a parking spot is ridiculous and you have to pay like sometimes like $25 just to park for your doctor's appointment. So it actually is less costly just to take a bus or a train or an Uber, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. So I don't drive, partially just because I was really comfortable with that sort of like
city girl like me. Yes, we're city girls.
Yes, and it's better for the environment. And you know, I've never had a problem getting around. Even when I lived here, when I was in college, I took the bus around the region, and you know, got to the thrift store on the bus, and would carry a huge bag of stuff back to my dorm. It is possible out here. It's definitely harder, and especially with my limited ability to walk. So I really want to get a Vespa, and in order to get a Vespa in Massachusetts, you have to have a
yeah, he does.
license. So I have to learn how to drive a car in order to drive a scooter.
He just said I always get parking.
In Philly?
In Philly, yes. Every time he was like the parking good luck charm, because I could never find a parking spot for the life of me. He would like go around Center City and there'd be like this magical parking spot, like with, you know, angels singing, and it would be right there. Yeah, and it was always like, it was crazy. And I would, as you know, as a Philly girl, like I was used to that, I would drive around, and then I'd end up parking in like the $25 parking garage. So,
oh my gosh, parking in Philly is just like legendary.
oh God,
There's so many.
they have parking wars.
What?
Parking wars.
Yeah,
That's actually a thing. So in Philly, our parking authority is known to be particularly aggressive. You are 1 second over that meter, you're ticketed. So anyway, so we got off on a tangent there, but
okay. So our last tip is just not to stress too much. I think it's so easy to get wrapped up in just the, like, everything seems like it could be the end of the world, but like,
yeah, it's like climbing Mount Everest when you think, oh my God, I have to move all of these things in my house. In my case, I had been in the house for 12 years. I do still have the house in Philly, and I actually do still have some things in there that I still have to move out of the basement, but there's not much. But so I'm still kind of in the process of moving, which is insane. But yeah, definitely it's very daunting, very overwhelming, but nothing is the end of the world. You'll do it. And then after you move, it's like a relief. It's like, wow, I actually did that. How the heck, but you do it.
That's how I feel right now. I do not know how we managed this because we pulled off, oh my gosh, everything bad happened. And so Chris was, my spouse was still working up until like the day or two before we moved.
Mm-hmm.
And then their car got hit while it was parked. So we were driving up to Massachusetts and we didn't know if the car was going to be ready to drive in time. And it was just like, and we packed our stuff Chris did 95% of it because I can't lift stuff. I can't do that much. And we still managed to pull it off in like 3 weeks. Like, I have no idea how we did it. And now we're here and it's over. Oh
yeah. You'll do it. So don't stress. It'll happen. And yeah, so also increase your handling time to give you a breather. That's another tip. I did not do that just because I'm trying to get my TRS back and I do 1 day handling, but that's not possible for everybody. And so, but you can, temporarily increase your handling time. And also in worst case scenario, let your buyer know that there's going to be a delay. I actually had some buyers inquire about some of my items that were not, because I was on vacation, and somebody sent me a message and said, hey, are you gonna list this again? So are you gonna be back from? And I was like, yeah. And I actually, I did actually, get some sales that way. And I just said like, hey, it's going to be a couple days, and then they bought my item. So, but you can also let them know like if there's going to be a delay because you can't find something in the move, which hopefully won't happen if you follow our tips, but.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did have that with one item. I just messaged them and was like, hey, I'm in the middle of moving. I'll get this out as soon as I can to you. And it didn't bother them at all. So it was fine.
So I guess that wraps up our whole, the meat of our.
So we have one question here. Did we know any of those parking officers? I did not know any PPA officers. I knew some of them by sight.
Yeah, there was one woman that was always like around South Street she was so aggressive that like she would watch like a hawk, like, the second, and I got a ticket. I got a ticket while I was actually paying to park.
No.
I was actually the one pay station wasn't taking my card. So I went to the next one a little ways down and I turn around and I see her writing a ticket and I was like, I'm paying. And she's like, already wrote the ticket. Can't do anything. But that's not true. That wasn't true. So yeah. And I couldn't, and then you have to go to court and you have to it's a big pain. So yeah. Anyway, okay, enough parking angst, but
yeah, I can keep going on about all this stupid stuff we got in Philly. It's funny because I feel like we're both bad mouthing it. We both love Philly more than
God, yeah, we're both.
And all of this complaining is just like part of living in Philly. It's really fun of being Philadelphian. Okay. Yeah, so we have a little bit of breaking thrifting news this week. Oops. Oh, I didn't put it in. I didn't put the image in. We'll just talk about it. So I saw this really interesting story about stamps.com.
Okay.
Wait, do you want to start talking about it while I add it to the...
Yeah, so stamps.com is going to actually partner with UPS now. They were just with USPS, and now they're going to... So, so there's the story. Okay. So Yeah, so it's actually increasing their customer base.
So I don't know why anyone still uses stamps.com. And I was actually
We don't want to, because they're kind of like a friend of ours. So.
Sorry. Okay, I won't bet. I mean, it's just
like I know Eric Nash, and he's
okay. Yeah, they're a great company. I totally forgot that they started back in the .com bubble, and things have changed so much.
So I think they're just adapting their business
Yeah.
model.
So this makes sense that they are, changing their strategy a little bit, and I think that it maybe could lead to more innovative stuff. And it's amazing that they're still going strong.
Yeah. So Jason, if he's still in the chat there, he can actually talk about. I think he uses stamps at sometimes, so he can talk about why he does. But it does. I know they do give a discount. And I think if you have like a higher volume of items, like if you're a bigger company, I think it's very advantageous. So
that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But it's commercials on TV now, though. Like I see stamps commercials, and so they are opening up to UPS now. So we'll see what happens, but it looks like it's going to increase their business. So,
and it could be really, really helpful for us. So, as we were talking about the other day about how, Smart Post isn't what it used to be because of the dimensional weight shipping with USPS. So for large items, stuff like that, the discount through stamps.com could be really good for resellers. So, we'll have to keep an eye on how this goes and what new developments are happening. But it's good to see them kind of making a comeback with this new deal.
Yeah, definitely.
And then two other just smaller items. One is Poshmark has a brand new holiday market. So if you have, it's not just Christmas and like Hanukkah stuff, it's also Halloween and Thanksgiving. And it seems like it'll be open through the year now. So you could even do like Valentine's and Easter and things like that.
And all holidays sell all year round.
Exactly.
We have sold Easter around Christmas time, and Hanukkah around in the middle of summer, and so you never know. So so that's an awesome new market. Yeah. So.
And this is a little bit of old news, but it is good to have on your radar. And
so there's a brand called it's a brand called Elizabeth and James. I don't know if any of you have heard of it, but it is a higher end brand. And
yes, so it is owned by the Olsen twins.
Yeah, Marion. Yeah. And
it, for a long time, it has been very high end. Like it is accepted by the Real kind of brand. I guess they went into bankruptcy or something late last year, early this year. And then in April, they announced that they would be coming to Kohl's. So the brand will be exclusively at Kohl's going forward. And they said the timeline was by the holiday season, which means that should be around this time of year, we'll start seeing it pop up in Kohl's. The reason this is important to know for resellers is that we've seen in the past any brand that starts selling in Kohl's generally is no longer a Bolo brand. So like Vera Wang doesn't move nearly as well as it used to, even if it's the higher end stuff. Rock and Republic used to be a great high-end denim brand. Now not so great because it is a Kohl's brand. So even if you find the older Elizabeth and James high-end stuff, it may now start being an item to pass on. So
unfortunately, Kohl's. It's funny because Target, which is even a little bit of a lower end store than Kohl's, Target does not kill the regular brand. Missoni is still going strong. Missoni for Target, regular Missoni. Like I can still sell this scarf for like $80, But unfortunately, it seems like the brands bite the dust when they partner with Kohl's. I think part of the reason is because they become staple items in the store, whereas with other collaborations like H&M and Target, they do like periodic, it's just for a limited time. So there's more of a rush to get it, more of a demand for it because there's less supply. But with Kohl's, they carry the brands and they keep the brands. Like Vera Wang for Kohl's is now a staple. It's just a staple. They always have it. So that becomes, so then it kind of, Dana Buckman was another one. Dana Buckman was a very high-end brand, and you can still find the black label. The brown label is Kohl's. The black label is not Kohl's. You can still find the black labels, but they just don't sell as much now for as much. I used to be able to sell a black label Dana Buckman for, you know, a lot, and now it's just the demand has gone down. So unfortunately, it's kind of like RIP to the brand when Kohl's
so pouring out
Kohl's pimps it out, but yeah.
But good for them that it looks like the brand will be continuing. Just not as great for us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so time for our brand new segment, which we will be doing every week. And when we have guests on, they will also be participating.
Yeah. And next week we have Tim. Tim has to get his ready for us. So.
Mm-hmm. So our market report, what we just sold and how it did and how much we made. We will also tell you our cost of goods, what we paid for it.
Yeah, so we're going to talk, like we said in the beginning, this is really to show you reality that we don't always have scores. We do have duds. And so it's kind of random, like whatever the last two items were as of the day before the show, that's what we're going to show it to you. So do you have any to show, Lola, or?
I do, but I can do yours.
Okay. I didn't know because you just moved, so.
No, I had a trickle of sales, not nearly as many as I usually do, but I do have.
Oh, great. So I actually had a Depop sale. Now, my Depop sales, and part of it is because I'm not working Depop as much as I am the other platforms, but it is a bit of a slower platform. So I sold it. I actually paid $5.99 for it, but $1 more.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. But so I sold this on Depop, and I just sold like just a couple days ago. It was the brand was Danica, I think Danica Studio, and it's a vegan crossbody. So on Depop, that's a great platform to advertise vegan items because there's a lot of kind of hipster, younger crowd, you know, like so. That was kind of and it's also it was I think they are a sustainable, like they recycle their to make their bags, you know, to make it's like a PV plastic, but you know, like kind of like a vinyl would be, but so I think they actually do use recycled materials too. But anyway, I sold this for 50. What did I sell it for? If I can't see.
$250.
No, I think that was my earnings. No, yeah, I guess that was the offer. So with shipping, then they paid another. They actually paid $12 for the shipping because I did ship with Depop. I know that was, now Depop has a deal with the post office too. The thing is the middle shipping, which is what they recommend. I'm actually going to do the lesser shipping next time. Goes up to 10 pounds. So you can ship anything. So if you do have a 10 pounds of items or like a bundle, it's actually, you can ship it for $12 to anywhere in the country.
That's incredible. I did not know it was 10 pounds.
10 pounds. So that was a good thing, but because I used the size, you know, the dimensional weight would have still a large bag. So anyway, the point is they paid, but they were happy with it. So so that was a good sale. It was a great sale, and it was new with tags too, by the way.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then my next one is. I actually paid more for this item. Now, I can talk about like why I paid more for this. Now, Fry boots have kind of seen a decline. They're found now, like you can find them now at like Marshalls and Ross and stuff. So that kind of Marshalls and Ross also kind of sometimes will bring brands down a little bit. But I sold these Fry boots for. Can you pull up the big picture of them? Do you have it?
I have the.
But yeah.
Oh no. Let's see. There we go.
Okay, so I have they were actually my size too. They were 9.5 women's, and they actually fit my big feet, and they were so comfy. And I was going to keep them, but I decided that it would be better to. And actually, I paid $15.99 for them. You're like $1 off with all of them.
Sorry.
That's okay. But so I paid a little more for these in the thrift store. My two reasonings were I looked up the style, and I knew that this style, despite Fry sometimes being in a decline was discontinued, and it was sought after, especially in that color, like the grayish green. They had them in a brown too that did not sell as well. So so because of that, and because they were my size and I knew that, you know, I could wear them and if worse came to worse, but I listed them and they sold really quickly for $105. So
that is a great sale.
yeah. So, and I paid $15.99 for them. So sometimes it is worth it to invest a little bit more in an item if you know that it's going to do well. So
just, yeah, especially when you know worst case scenario, you'll just keep them. Then.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So I had not as great sales, but wait, oh shoot. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, I was wondering, Lola, if you had any sales because you had just moved, but you are back in business.
I am, yeah. So I didn't actually put my store on vacation. I just upped my handling time to a week, and it was fine. I was not, sharing on Poshmark, so didn't really get any Poshmark sales, but I did have a couple eBay sales. This one was a great example of like just list it and forget it, because I got this at the bins. That's not the right. Let's see. A long time ago, like maybe last year with you, and it was in great condition. It was last year because I remember I did wear it once last fall, and then I listed it. So it was a men's flannel. It had the style number, so it was really easy to look up comps. And it was just sitting because it was out of season. By the time I listed it, it was winter. It's not really the time you're thinking about buying flannel. And finally, came back into season. It sold almost immediately once it started getting a little chilly. It actually sold while we were on the road to someone in Connecticut while we were passing through Connecticut. So that was funny.
That's funny, yeah.
They gave me a best offer, but they gave me it was like $2 or $3 off my listing price. So it was like, absolutely, I will take it.
Isn't it LL Bean too that's now has that campaign about their plaid?
Yes, that is like the Scottish.
So they have a really strong campaign now. So that might actually also spark some sales, because they're thinking it gets it in people's minds, and
Totally.
And flannel is actually really popular this season. It's in. So I think that helps too.
Yeah, I did notice that they had that. I think it was like authentic Scottish tartans or something like that. Yeah. And it made me think it might be worth actually identifying which pattern.
Yeah.
So I didn't do that with this item, obviously, but in the future I might do that.
Yep. Yeah. Scotch plaid commercial. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then my other eBay sale was another item that I had listed for a while, expected it to sell. It didn't sell last Christmas, and then it sort of sat. But again, right around, the time the seasons are changing and people are thinking about holiday decor, sure enough, it sold again, best offer, but just a few dollars off what I had listed it for. And I think I paid like $4 or $5. So it may have been $10 that I had in it. I don't remember, for each box, because it was on the shelf separately, marked separately, but I bought both of them and sold them as a set. And made about $50 off of it. So again, a little higher investment, but definitely, happy with the payoff. So
we both actually had scores for our.
Yeah.
Maybe next week we won't. You'll have to see what we have. But and Tim, not to put him on the spot there, but Tim is also going to be showing us his last two sales.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
great question from the Thrift Raider: if we've sold a brand called People of the Labyrinth. I have not, but that definitely sounds like something I would also pick up. A lot of times those European brands are like kind of smaller boutique brands, have a following, and I would definitely put it on eBay with global shipping, because sometimes it'll go back to the country it's from if people know it better there.
That Sophie door skirt that you passed up, the orange one.
Yes, the one I was such an idiot.
That ended up being like a really high-end brand in Belgium. It's like so we got a smiling face. So actually, Jason said to me, he didn't put it in the chat, but he had mentioned that he moved to Pirate Ship instead of Stamps, but now that Stamps is partnering with UPS, he's going to be using it again. So
yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering.
So I think it's going to bring, I think it's going to bring more customers to that. And maybe eventually they'll partner with FedEx too. We'll have to see. But I think it was a very smart move for them.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm curious that looking at them again, I have an account from ages ago that I hadn't used, especially since I started selling on Poshmark where the shipping's sort of integrated into the system. But one thing I do love about Depop is they have that option where you can use their shipping or you can use your own shipping.
Right.
And I do want to do some research about how to best ship items through Depop and maybe save some money that way.
Yeah, and also the international Depop itself doesn't have international shipping, but you can sell internationally, especially UK where Depop was conceived, is very
lots of UK users.
Yeah. So, and I have a lot of UK followers and I follow it. So I think offering an international shipping option is really beneficial too. So, but yeah. So
we have a few closing notes. Once again, our friend Tim will be here with us next week for a special time on Halloween, 1 p.m. So a little bit later than we're usually on. Again, come in costume.
Oh, did he put that on the chat? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, Lola.
I kind of want to do something fun. Maybe we can do a little giveaway, like post a selfie or send us a selfie on Instagram or something of yourself in costume, and maybe we'll do a little giveaway to figure out what. But.
Yeah, definitely.
And then we will still be here at our usual time on Friday with another Goodwill Blue Box unboxing, and the boxes should be arriving today, or yours is here. Mine should be arriving any minute.
Mine just arrived. We'll see. And like we said, I might get another one tonight when they restock.
And then we also have our new mailing list, which
yes, please subscribe to our mailing list.
Yes, I'm really excited about our first email. Will go out on Tuesday, and it will be once a week on Tuesday. So not too much mailing, stuff in your inbox, and hopefully, really, really interesting and useful stuff to keep you inspired while you're listing. And it will be a variety of topics. So some of it will be, business related and sort of like productivity related stuff that might be able to go back into your business. And then some of it will be, just interesting things about the fashion industry and, the circular economy and things that are relevant to all of our interests. And then whatever else we find particularly entertaining and funny or really good music.
Yeah, just inspiration while you list, while, even while you're thrifting, if you want to put your earbuds in when you're in the thrift store, you can use our background noise for that. So
absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, Jason says hit that thumbs up. Please do like and subscribe and share us with your friends.
Yeah, please.
Yes, we'd love to get the word out about our show.
Yeah. So
next, we have
our question.
Our question for you. Oh, it's not coming up.
Yes. So we want to know, if you've moved, what tips do you have? How did you do it? Is there anything added that that you can comment on, to give us some extra tips, or, is there anything that you did the same or you did differently, or?
Yeah, what you would do, what you would do again, what you would do differently next time, and what others can learn from your horrible experience of moving all of your inventory. Because I think
it is. It's like what I would imagine hell would be. It's just constantly moving. Like, it was horrendous. So yeah, so definitely, there's our in the chat, you will see our mailing list link. So please.
And we'll put it in the YouTube description as well for anyone who's watching this later, or who might just find that easier.
Yeah.
So that should be easy to find for anyone who's interested in signing up. And as always, you can find us all over the internet. So we're both on Poshmark and Depop as sellers, as well as on eBay. And you can connect with us on Instagram. So follow us there. Feel free to send us a message on Instagram. We'd love to hear from you. And you can also email us at nalothrifts@gmail.com. So your ideas, your comments, your critiques,
if you want to be a guest, or if you have in mind someone that should be a guest, let us know, because we'll be, you know, looking for guests in the future. We've
Mhm.
had Jason, now we're going to have Tim, and we will have other guests in the future. Not with every show, but we'll definitely be doing some guest shows. So, and Sabrina had asked for my Instagram, so there it is.
Mhm. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. We had a great time and love seeing all of you in the chat. Please like and subscribe and turn on your notifications so we go live every Friday at noon. And we'll see you next week on Thursday and on Friday. So bonus content next week.
Yes, 2 shows next week. So, okay, everybody have a great week. And thank you for the thumbs up and subscribes and views. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Happy weekend, everyone.
Yes.
Bye.